Good evening, folks. This is Kenny with Just the Right Angle. You can follow me on Podbean every Wednesday at 12:35, where I do a live broadcast on issues that affect all of us. You can also follow me on Rumble at Just the Right Angle, where I'll post videos on various political issues, as well as YouTube. And then I also have the YouTube account Keep Arkansas Legal, Kenny_NLR on Twitter, and of course on Facebook under Kenneth Wallace. I wanted to talk a little bit about an issue that's been brought to my attention regarding the education system in Arkansas and snow days. There is a procedure to where after several snow days, schools are supposed to have to make up the days by sticking them basically at the end of the school year. So on the normal day when people get out of school, instead they have to go back to school for another several days. There was, however, an effort to, beforehand, schools could take what's known as AMI, or what we call alternative methods of instruction, instead of having to go to school, which basically they could either do Zoom or simply have work sent to them from a location. Like that, okay, here's the work for your makeup day, just do it and then turn it in. Now during COVID, we saw a lot of what we call alternative methods of instruction done via Zoom, webcam, online learning. And there were some problems with that. People would have problems with the technology, people would sometimes not do the work. There was a lot of other learning issues that occurred because of that. However, doing things online as opposed to in person does have some advantages. And so during the last session, the overhaul of education known as Arkansas Learns, which did do a lot of good things, basically got rid of AMI for public schools, but I believe it gave the option for private schools to use it in the event of snow days. Now, we've had at least 5 full snow days so far with this Arctic blast that has occurred this winter. It's most likely there's going to be some more snow days coming up. And so a lot of people have started to wonder, maybe we should be a little more flexible in how these days can be made up. Should we allow for Zoom or some other, like I said, alternative method of instruction? During the last session, there actually was an effort by Representative Julie Mayberry to push forward a bill that was, I believe, part of Arkansas Learns or dealt with this specific issue. It did pass House committee, but it failed in the full House. I think now with what has happened, it could be brought again, and it may be able to be brought again in the fiscal session, which should be coming up later this year. And this could be something that it does have a financial impact, because generally speaking, as I said before, these alternative methods of instruction are usually better financially than having to show up in person. So I would like to look up the bill. I don't have the bill number itself. I'll have to look it up. It was proposed during the last regular session at around the same time Arkansas Learns was done. And I think it would be maybe a good idea to revisit and then see about getting that pushed, particularly during the fiscal session, there's a lot of things I wish we could get pushed into fiscal session, cutting the funding to green projects, cutting the funding to Arkansas PBS, a lot of other unnecessary things that government needs to cut so that we can then get rid of our income tax, lower our overall sales tax, get rid of things like property taxes, reduce the size and scope of government. But I think this is also something that could be fixed. And I'm going to try to talk about this on my next broadcast, next Wednesday, 12:35. At Just the Right Angle, where I'll do my live stream. I'll do a little more research on it, see if we can get it pushed. It's probably too late to try to get this as a ballot initiative, not to mention the fact that Tim Griffin will probably block it because he's blocking all ballot initiatives from ever being approved. But perhaps this legislation, back then it was kind of a minor issue. I don't think people had it on their mind, and there was a big overhaul and effort to push for Arkansas Learns. But I think now, especially with the primaries coming up in the general election, it could be something I think that Republicans could get passed, sign into law, and be an overall way to fix what I think is kind of I think it could become a major problem. Because there's some schools that I would like to see, and I don't know the language of this legislation, but I would like to see where if a school district decides and they have the option of choosing AMI. And some schools may still decide, no, we want people to show up in person. But there may be some schools that decide, look, we don't need to have people show up in person every single day. Let's at least have a few days, or maybe all the makeup days, as AMI. I could be more flexible. That's kind of what I would like to see regarding this issue. But let me know what y'all think. I've posted a article from Michigan where I think they had to pass a law regarding this because they've had snow days, and I don't know if it was during their regular session or not, and or all the language of that bill. And I got a few people, making their comments on there, so I'll post this Podbean broadcast on there. What's your pros and cons of this? Should we have to make up all days? Is there maybe another way to make this a little more efficient? Could other school districts take up the slack? What could be done to kind of make sure that this be a little more flexible in having to make up these education days? You think that public schools should be just done away with and should be replaced? That may be an argument for that because it's so convoluted. Are there other factors? Is there federal aid that's involved with this? Just whatever other information you think would be relevant. Feel free to post it. You can comment on Podbean. I'm going to post it to my post that I made on Facebook regarding this issue. And I'll post it on Twitter as well. So y'all can see this and decide, get some discussion regarding this legislation. And I might start talking about other possible legislation as well. But this is one bill that I just wanted to talk about. All right, that's about it. Again, follow me at Just the Right Angle every Wednesday, 12:35, and then I'll do some broadcasts at other times depending on various issues.